What is the most obvious lie you have ever been told? When a coworker told my own story back to me as his own. Twice. I had a friend do this once. He was hanging out with a large group of my friends that he hardly knew, and my best friend, still my best friend too, love that effer, just went, "Wow, it's so crazy you had verbatim the exact same childhood story that Jason has told us all before, right down to the small town in Kansas where it happened," and the color drained straight out of his face. Didn't say a word to me for like 3 days. Dude turned out to be a pathological liar on many levels. Very strange to think how I spent 4 years of high school with someone lying straight to my face constantly and didn't realize it until that moment. Wow, that's crazy. Reminds me of the time I had a friend do this once. He was hanging out with a large group of my friends that he hardly knew, and my best friend, still my best friend too, love that effer, just went, "Wow, it's so crazy you had verbatim the exact same childhood story that Jason has told us all before, right down to the small town in Kansas where it happened," and the color drained straight out of his face. Didn't say a word to me for like 3 days. Dude turned out to be a pathological liar on many levels. Very strange to think how I spent 4 years of high school with someone lying straight to my face constantly and didn't realize it until that moment. Lamau, that's hilarious. I started reading it and was like, wait a second, this sounds familiar. I speak French, though I'm losing it from lack of use. But one of my college guy friends started dating a girl from France. He was all excited because she could talk to me in her native language and I could help translate. So he brought her to a party at my sorority house and introduced us. I greeted her in French with a very simple, bonjour, bienvenue, comment ça va, which is just hi, welcome, how are you? Blank stare and red face in response. She then said, in what I thought was a kind of strange accent, that she's sorry, she didn't understand me. I looked at the guy and said, I thought you told me she was French? Because maybe she was a different nationality, and he was confused. He looked at her and she just turned and left. He followed, then returned a bit later and said he had caught up to her, and she started screaming at him in perfect Midwestern accented English that he was a jerk for setting her up to look like a fool. He had genuinely been excited that he could introduce her to someone she could talk to, so he was blown away by her accusations and then angry that she lied. She apparently felt faking an accent would make her more appealing or something. I would see her around on campus after that, but she avoided me like the plague. To be honest, I felt bad for her, but if you're going to fake it, at least pick a country with a language you can speak. Reminds of that post where the guy has been faking an Australian accent for all of college, but is screwed because he wants to marry his girlfriend that thinks he's Australian. Too bad she avoided you afterwards. Would have been the cherry on top if you always greeted her with bonjour and a crap-eating grin if you had met occasionally. My friend told me that getting a Peloton changed her life. I looked up her workout stats and she had used it 4 times in 5 months of owning it. Her husband fared a little better with using it 9 times. Don't know why this annoyed me so much. Being able to tell people she owns a Peloton changed her life, using it would be overkill. Peloton has replaced Bowflex as the most expensive coat rack these days. My little girl told everyone in the supermarket that our cat died and she was sad. We don't own a cat. Well, not anymore. In 5th grade, a friend of ours used to try to convince us he used to hang out with the band Sublime. Among other stuff, he said that he was the person featured on the cover of their self-titled album and he used to do drugs with them and even tried heroin once. We were effing 11 years old and he claimed this all happened 2 years before he even moved to our school. So yeah, a effing 9-year-old did all this wild crap. We constantly called bullcrap, but he would just continue to lie and make up more stuff. We stopped hanging out with him because he was so full of crap. When I was 15, I had a friend that tried to tell me the exact same story. What if Sublime was just hanging out with children? What if it's the same friend? Used to have a friend that spewed bullcrap all the time. Told me her bio parents, who lived together, were divorced and seeing other people, and also that she had 25 siblings. Brought it up to her mom one time, which was an interesting conversation. She also told us she had cancer, and then a week later it was miraculously cured. Edit, spelling. I have a family member who did the cancer thing. A cousin found out it was a lie. But the one that I'll never forget was when I introduced her to my friend who has lupus. I don't know how the topic came up about it, but she literally told my friend in front of me that she also had lupus. I immediately ended the conversation and left. I told my friend she was lying, and now we laugh about it, but seriously. No shame. We're not playing favorites. Was told I needed to buy my own car as a teen, and I did. Following year, my baby bro was given a free car. He's 15 months younger, is now 56, still living at home. Uck. My sister had her car in college pretty much paid for. I was basically told to kick rocks. Yeah, I feel your pain. College was same scenario with me too. Fortunately, it made me more independent, and my bro has never grown up. He will inherit their houses/land. Oh, but I'm told I'll get a car. Think I got the better deal, laughing out loud. This reminds me of the time I asked my parents for a drum kit. I'd been asking for a couple of Christmases and had been having lessons for a few months. Because I hadn't been successful for almost 2 years, I just gave up. Stopped asking for a kit, stopped having lessons, which turned out to be a blessing in the end, and just forgot all about it. Then, my brother started a band. He's a very talented metal vocalist. He asked for a kit and got one for Christmas that year. I was devastated with my parents, but I was happy for my brother. He doesn't even play the drums, even now, but it was cool for him to have what he asked for. Edit. Holy snap, I wasn't expecting this much attention on this comment. I'm going to read every comment, but it is getting late, so I'm sorry if I don't get back to you all. The life of the unloved child. I know those feels so very well. Took my parents 25 years, and my sister cutting them off for them to remember they had a son. And then I nearly died, so I was an inconvenience again. That's rough, man. I'm sorry. Hope you're doing better now. I'm doing pretty great, actually. Haven't spoken to them in a few years now, and they don't even know where I am. Just cut that whole toxic nonsense out of my life, and my life has honestly never been better. Hey, good for you. I'm glad you're doing well. Not on the grand scale of a drum set, but similar thing happened with my sister and me. From the age of like 5 until 12, every year, I asked for a baby born doll for Christmas and never got one. After 12 I gave up because I was getting too old, but that Christmas my little sister asked for one. She got it. I didn't even want it anymore, but was very hurt. I asked all of those years and she only asked once. Lol. My older brother used to get presents on my birthday. I specifically had asked for an action figure from the cartoon Street Sharks for a long time. I even showed my mother the exact toy when we were out shopping. Birthday arrives, and I got clothes and new shoes while my brother got the action figure I asked for. My grandma was so pissed off when she found out, so she took me to Toys R Us to pick out toys. When I was 23, my family asked what I wanted to do for my birthday. I said I just wanted a steak dinner. We had spaghetti and vegetarian meatballs because that's what my brother wanted. When the Xbox 360 came out, I was in high school. I shared a room with my brother, but I worked and he didn't. I bought a new TV and an Xbox with one of my first checks. I came home one evening after work and was so excited to play Borderlands. I got to my room and the Xbox was gone. My brother took it to his friend's house, and I was told by my dad to deal with it. So I decided to take a walk and smoke a little bit of weed. I opened my stash jar, and all my weed and over $200 was gone. Obviously I couldn't confront my dad about the weed, but when I told him my money was missing, he blamed it on me losing it. That night when my brother came home, he had a brand new jacket and matching shoes, and was carrying leftovers from a restaurant. I lost it and beat the hell out of him, and my dad called the police to have me arrested. Edit. Thank you all for the well wishes. My brother committed suicide 6 years ago, and it drastically changed my dad's attitude. I'm still no contact with my mother, and that'll never change. Grandparents passed a few years ago, and that was the last time I saw my mom's side of the family. After a night in juvenile hall, I was released back to my dad, and had 2 years of probation. The Xbox was there when I returned home, but never saw the $200 or my weed again. I got a safe after that. I'm in a good place now. I have my son that I adore and spend all my free time making sure he's as happy as can be, because I'll never be the parent that I had growing up. Your parents and brother are vaginas. Grandma sounds pretty cool though. I'm so angry on your behalf. This makes me so angry, what the hell, sorry you had to go through this. In high school, a buddy told me that he didn't steal our other buddy's watch. He was wearing the watch when I asked him about it. Long-term borrowing, he'll give it back, some say, I'm sure. Some might say so, but I'm not one of them. Lol, in grade school my neighbor stole my water gun, more of a hose actually. Each pump launched a stream of water and it came with a backpack tank. Way better than the super soakers. Anyway, he had it and I went to take it back and he said it was his. He liked mine so much he got his own. I flipped it over and showed him my name on the bottom of it. He said, I liked yours so much, I wanted mine to be the exact same, so I wrote your name on mine too. Genius. How are you going to disprove that? Absolute big brain insanity. You weren't convinced? A childhood friend and I met up for coffee one day after not meeting for a few years. He casually let it slip that ever since he earned a black belt he has had to register with the state as a human weapon. My hands are registered as lethal weapons. That means, we get into a fight, I accidentally kill you? I go to jail. Anybody accidentally kills anybody in a fight, they go to jail. It's called manslaughter. I never said you had to sign the document if it wasn't true. Says the person with 3 emails telling me to sign a document even after I said it wasn't true, sitting on her outbox. I was given a blank lease from a realtor and he told me to sign it. Nope. By blank I meant a standard Ontario lease with nothing filled in. Had the same conversation with unscrupulous tow company. I'd just been in a major wreck, and while pulling items out of the car I knew I'd never see again, they handed me a blank form to sign. Don't worry, we will fill in the details afterwards. F off. I'm sure it worked plenty of times, considering they were targeting people in moments of vulnerability. I wonder how many people actually sign the blank lease. Trust me, the terms are going to be exactly what I told you. Now if you could give me a blank signed check, we'll be done here. Any lieutenant saying that the platoon can go home early on a Friday if you work hard right now. Just about anything a lieutenant says should be run by the captain first. Unless the lieutenant says, I don't know, in which case he's probably right and is probably prior enlisted as well. We cannot give you a raise right now, but we will compensate you as soon as the budget allows. Turns out when the budget allows is when you already have another job offer and put in your 2 weeks notice. I was told by a senior employee, not my manager, but technically a step above them, that my best bet for moving up in the company would be to leave and come back in 3 years. A colleague used to tell to his subordinates, if you want more money, find another job. Don't take this the wrong way, I don't want you to leave, but the only way I'm getting more money for you past upper management, is by telling them you're leaving for a better offer. How convenient. Well, we just so happen to already have a raise of. How much more you said the other company offered? Planned for you. We were going to give you the good news this evening. My sister's old work pulled this exact same crap on her. I forget her official job title, but she would basically go to people's houses and take care of them, sponge baths and redressing wounds and other crap that I could never do. She had more clients than most other employees put together because people kept quitting and she felt like she morally could not say no to a new client. Finally, she told them that she needs a raise and or better hours or she's quitting, and they kept saying we're looking into that. We put in a request, we're speaking without manager. Then when she finally put in her 2 weeks notice, that just so happened to be the day that it was finally approved and they were just about to call her. Man, she put them in a effing panic when she finally left. I'd like to believe they learned a lesson, but I seriously doubt it. My last job said we are pushing raises from September to February. All the layoffs happened the week before Christmas. I waited for my bonus, $500, and as soon as the check was in my hand I gave my 2 weeks notice. The guy who gave his 2 weeks the day before didn't get his bonus. As a tax accountant, I'm told lies about how much money people actually made all the time during tax season. My favorite was a guy telling me he's broke because he only makes $35,000 per year in NYC, so my very reasonable fee is too much for him. He says this after he asked me if he can deduct the new BMW 5 Series he just bought his son all cash. It isn't just the lie, but the added insult of such a bad lie told to one's face that is so galling. Had another client last week tell me he doesn't have any money to live because of the pandemic. He bought a $750,000 condo in Greece as a vacation home a couple months ago. It's like these people forget that our job is literally to track what they do with their money. Meet a client. All right, to finish up this return I just need your non-expired government-issued ID. Client: oh yeah, here you go. Me: ma'am, this is expired. Client: what? No, it's not. Me: so yes it is. See, the expiration date is right here. Client: well, can't you just put it in anyway? What about using my daughter's ID? Me: ma'am, that's identity theft and I cannot do that. I will lose my job. Client: mad me. Equals. Reminds me of a time I was in line inside the bank and a lady had come in just to protest an overdraft fee, screaming, I'm telling y'all I had the money when I wrote the check. Ma'am, there was not enough money in your account so it went overdrawn. You're not listening. I had the money. I had it at home in my drawer. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.